Hello everyone, you're all welcome to this video. I remain your tutor life changer, and here in order to help the waec students, I decided to solve past questions, waec past questions. Okay, and this one is 2024 waec past question, as it is going to help you in preparation for your exams. Okay, so the first one says, number one, multiply 3.4 times 10 to the power minus 5 and times this and leave your answer in standard form. Okay, well, this should not be a problem because you can just simply use your calculator to do that. Okay, so I am turning on my calculator here. So it says 3.4 times 10 to the power minus 5, then multiplied by 7.1 times 10 to the power 8. Okay, and the answer is 24140. Now 24140, counting from here, 1 2 3 4, so the answer is 2.414 times 10 raised to the power 4. Yeah, because this is 4 zeros counting from the left. So the answer to this question is C. Okay, now number 2 question says, given that P is equal to a set of P, P must be greater than 1 and less than 20, where P is an integer, and R must be greater than 0 and less than 25, equal to, where R is a multiple of 4. Okay, find P intersection R. Well, I think it's quite easy. First of all, P are values between 1 and 20, but 1 and 20 are not inclusive because there is no equal sign here. So that means it's going to start from 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are integers. So 6, and it keeps going. You continue 18, 19, 20. Okay, so we can leave this way. Then for R is from 0 to 25. Both 0 and 25 are inclusive because of this equal sign here. So it starts with 0, ends with 25, but remember that it must be a multiple of 4. And so multiple of 4 should actually start with 4, okay? Because 4 times 1 is 4. And so we have 8, we have plus 4, 12, plus 4, 16, plus 4, 20, plus 4, 24. Because these are the multiples of 4. Now, so when we are to find P intersection R, which is what we are asked to find, it means common numbers. So 4 is common, 8 is common, 12 is common, 16 is also here, 16 is common, 20 is common. The only thing that is not here is 20. Okay, this is 20. The only thing that is not here is 24. So that means the answer would be 4. You have 4 here, you have 4 here, you have 8 here, you have 8 here, you know, the dot dot dot. So you have 8, 12, 16, and 20. That's the answer. So the answer to that question is C. Okay, so now the next one says the first term of an arithmetic progression. By the way, I downloaded this from Cheetah. Okay, the first term of an arithmetic progression is 2 and the last term is 29. If the common difference is 3, how many terms are in the arithmetic progression? Okay, but first of all, the first term of an arithmetic progression is 2, so that means A is equal to 2. And the last term is 29, that means L equal to 29. We don't know what the value is. You can write it as L, or you can just simply say AN is equal to 29, okay? Or TN, whichever. If the common difference is 3, and the common difference D is equal to 3, how many terms are in the arithmetic progression? Okay, I think this is quite easy. Because we can use AN to be equal to A plus N minus 1D. Now, usually we use TN. Okay, let me change this to be TN equal to N minus 1D. So, for the last term, if I'm to substitute the value for the last term is 29, equal to the first term is 2, plus N is what we are looking for, the number of terms, minus 1. The common difference here is 3. Because this is the formula to find the nth term of an arithmetic progression. So please note that. So continue solving. This is going to be 29 is equal to 2 plus If I open this bracket, this is 3 times n is 3n, and 3 times minus 1 is minus 3. So that means 29 is equal to, here you have 2 minus 3, which is minus 1 plus 3n. If minus 1 crosses the equal sign, you're going to have 29 plus 1 is equal to 3n. 29 plus 1 is 30, so 30 equals 3n. Then we divide both sides by 3. You are going to have that n is equal to 10. So the answer is C. So the n is C, or let's say the number of terms is 10. Now the next question here says, express in index form log x to base a plus log y to base a equal to 3. Okay, so now what this simply means is we want to express in index form. Index form simply means in indices. Remember, you can actually convert logarithm to indices. And by law of logarithm, log x to base a plus log y to base a being equal to 3. According to law of logarithm, I can still write this as log xy. That means they are going to multiply each other and they maintain the same base. You keep one log and you multiply the argument, all equal to 3. You see that? Now, according to the law of exponents, or the law of index law, one of the index laws, this can go here to be a raised to the power 3. So we are going to say xy is equal to a raised to the power of 3. That's the answer. Remember that when you have log x to base y equal to a, it means that this x now will be equal to y raised to the power of a. That is allowed. That is a law in trigonometry, in logarithm. So xy equals a cube is the answer. So the answer to that question is C. I hope that makes sense. Now for the fifth one, we have simplified 2p minus q squared minus p plus q squared. Okay, now there are two ways you can do this. You can open this bracket, then subtract, and that will be fine. But I prefer using difference of two squares. Whenever I see something like this, something comes to my mind. Difference of two squares is a minus b times a plus b. That means you subtract both values and you add both values and you multiply it. That makes it easy. So if I want to do that here, because this is this squared minus this squared, so I can apply this. So I should add and subtract. Okay, let me start by subtracting. This minus this will give us 2p minus q. Because I'm subtracting everything here, it's going to be minus p minus q. Yeah, it's going to, the negative sign will affect everything here. Always note, whenever you have a negative sign, it tends to affect all. So I put this in a bracket, then the same thing I add, that's going to be 2p minus q, this time around plus p plus q. You see, quite easy. So here we are now going to have 2p minus p is p, minus q is minus 2q. Then here we have 2p plus p is 3p. Then minus q plus q is 0. They cancel out. So that means the final answer is going to be 3p into p minus 2q. Okay, 3p into p minus 2q. The answer to this question is A. Quite interesting, right? Quite interesting. Okay, so that leads us to the next one. This one says, if 3 minus, this is a short question, if 3 minus 4 root 2 times 1 plus 3 root 2 is equal to a plus b root 2, find the value of b. Okay, this is quite easy. What they simply want us to do is to open this bracket. So in doing that, 3 minus 4 root 2 and 1 plus 3 root 2, we are going to have 3 times 1. Opening the bracket means this multiplies everything here and this multiplies everything here. So we go 3 times 1 is 3, plus 3 times 3 root 2 is 9 root 2. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9, then you have root 2. Minus 4 root 2 times 1 is minus 4 root 2. Minus 4 root 2 times 3 will be minus 12. Now, minus 4 times 3 is minus 12. Then root 2 times root 2 is 2, so it becomes 2. Now, when they are equal, that's how it works, okay? So, this becomes 3 plus 9 root 2 minus 4 root 2, they have the same root, so they can subtract. So 9 minus 4 is 5, that becomes 5 root 2. Then this is minus 12 times 2 is 24. So now it becomes 3 minus 24, which is minus 21 plus 5 root 2. You see? So this is what we have after expanding this. And now we can equate this to what we have here, a plus b root 2. And they say we should find b. B is the value attached to root 2. So, and the value attached to root 2 here is 5. So the answer to this question is 5. Beautiful. An amazing one. Okay, so that leads us to the next one. The next one says, find the sum for which $1,250 will amount to 2,031.25 at 12.5% per annum. Okay, simple interest. Okay, from the options, we actually asked to find the years, not the sum. Okay, so this is the principal, and this is what's amounted. So usually simple interest is supposed to be equal to principal times the rate times the time divided by 100. And so the interest will be to subtract both, because it was initially this 1,250 and now it is this. Okay, so you have a formal amount and you have a new amount. So we are going to make that subtraction somewhere. 2,031.25 minus this is 1,250.00. Okay, so this is 5, this is 2, this is 1, this is 8, this is 7, and yeah, that is it, $781.25 dollars, right? So at this point, that's the interest. So the simple interest is simply 781.25. Now equal to the principal, means the initial amount, which is 1,250, times the rate. The rate is 12.5. That's the rate. Times the time. We're looking for the time. That's what we asked to find the time, and divide by 100. So we can make the time the subject of formula by cross multiplication. If we cross multiply, we are going to have 781.25 times 100 divided by 1,250 times 12.5. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I have a calculator here. Let me do this quickly. 781.25 then times 100. Now if you don't want to make mistake, you can multiply the numerator separately and multiply the denominator separately before you divide. Please don't just write it the way you see it there. Now the answer I just got here is 5, so the answer is 5 years. So this is the answer. Very easy. You can see that this question is quite easy. Now the next one says, if log 2x minus 1 to base 3 is equal to 5, find the value of x. This is quite easy. We can use the index rule to get this. Log 2x plus 1 to base 3 equal to 5. I can raise 3 to the power of 5. That means I'm going to have 2x plus 1 is equal to 3 raised to the power of 5. So 2x plus 1 is equal to 3 raised to the power of 5 is 243. You can see. And 2x is equal to, okay, this is minus 1, sorry. This is minus. So that means this will be 243 plus 1. So 2x is equal to 244. So x is going to be 244 divided by 2, and that is 122. So 122 is the answer. Wow, that is quite easy. Okay, so that leads us to the next one. The next one says, the population of a town increases by 3% every year. That's the increment yearly. In the year 2000, the population was 3,000. Find the population in the year 2003. That means after 3 years. In fact, year 2000 is the first year. Okay, 2001 the second year, 2002 the third year, 2003 the fourth year. So we are looking for at the fourth year. So since it increases by a particular percentage every year, it simply means that is an arithmetic progression. Okay, so increases by 3% every year is an arithmetic progression. So let's see, and here we say the population of the town increases by 3% every year, and this. So let's see, in 2020, in 2001, okay, let me start with 2000. In year 2000, the population was 3000. Okay, now in 2001, the population will be 3000 times 3% every year. Okay, that looks like a compound interest. This is compound, obviously, but let me solve it normally before I use the compound interest formula. So times 3% means 3 over 100, sorry, increases by, so this is plus 3 over 100 times 3000. Okay, so this will give me the first value, and which is 3000 plus, this is 90, so that gave us 3090. So but for the year 2002, it's going to be 3090 plus the increase by 3% will be 3 over 100 times 3090. Okay, so this will be 3090 plus this is 1212, that is 3 times 30.9, that is 92.7. so this is 92.7, and if I add that to 3090, I'm going to get 3182.7. so that's for 2002. Then for 2003, I'm going to increase it again by 3%, so that's going to be 3182.7 plus 3%, which is this times the same 3182.7. so this will be 3182.7 plus I have a calculator here, 3 times 3182.7 divided by 100, so this is 95.481. so I'm going to have 3182.7 plus 0.7 plus 95.481. so here my answer is 3278.181, and obviously the closest answer to that is this, 3278. Now somebody is asking, is there no other way to do this? Are you going to do this in the exam hall? Actually, in all honesty, it took me a little time to remember that this is a compound interest, because anything that increases on a particular rate every year is compound. That's a compound interest, not a simple interest. Simple interest increases 3% of the first amount, the initial amount, but this no. So if I want to do this, I can also apply the compound interest formula. I hope I can remember this, which is the principal times 1 plus the rate, okay, raised to power n. N is the number of years. Okay, so this is going to be the principal, the initial amount. It started with 3000, okay, then times 1 plus the rate, based on what we have here, is 0.03, okay, and it's every year. So then divided by n. N is the years. So if you check from 2000 to 2003, we have 3 years. So 2000, 21, 22, 23, so that's 3 years. So this is now going to be 300 into 1.03 raised to power 3, sorry, 3000. So let's see what that would be. 3000 using my calculator. So 3000 times 1.03 raised to the power of 3, sorry, 1.03 raised to the power of 3. Yeah, we got the same answer, 3278.181. You see, so mass is universal. I used the crude method and I got the same answer. I used the compound interest method and I got the same answer. Can you see that? Okay, so please let's remember this. This is actually quite tedious. Okay, number 10 says a trader gave a change of 540 naira instead of 570 naira. Okay, so instead means that's the real thing, that's the original. Calculate the percentage error. That's very simple. Percentage error will be the error over the original, always over the original, then multiply by 100. You either say original or the initial amount. Okay, so the error is to subtract. That means 570 minus 540, that is 30. So this is going to be 30 divided by the original. What it is supposed to be is 570. Kindly note that. Then multiplied by 100, right? So 0 cancels 0 here. I think 3 can go. 3 would go here to be, this is 119, yeah. So we are left with 100 over 19. So 100 divided by 19, I guess, is 5. And the remainder will be 5 over 19. So the answer is 5 whole 5 over 19%. So A is the answer. Now, this is how you go about questions like this. So let's see the next one. Now, the next one says, an interior angle of a regular polygon is 168 degrees. Find the number of sides of the polygon. Now, anytime you hear the word regular polygon, the easiest way is to find the external angle whenever you are given the internal angle. So I can go ahead and find the exterior angle. Now always notice that exterior angle is always equal to 180 minus the interior angle. You are going to see the reason why I do this. There are other ways of solving this, but this is the sweetest. Okay, so, and the easiest. So that means 180 minus 168. And 180 minus 168 is simply 12. That means each exterior angles are 12. This is what exterior angles is. Let's assume this is a polygon. This is what we call the exterior angle, the one that stretches out. This is another exterior angle. This is another exterior. This is another exterior. This is another exterior angle, So the number of interior angle is equal to the number of exterior angle. But both interior angle and exterior angle makes a straight line, which makes it 180. And so that's why we have 12 degrees. Now, if you want to know the number of sides, the number of sides now will be 360 divided by the exterior angle. That's very simple. So the reason is because the sum of the exterior angle, no matter the polygon, whether you are dealing with pentagon, hexagon, no matter the polygon, must be equal to 360. So that creates the magic. So the number of sides now will be 320 divided by 12, which is equal to 30. So it means it has 30 sides. 30 good sides. I believe that makes sense. Okay? Now, the next one says here, if 3x minus 2y equals to minus 5, and x plus 2y equals to 9, find the value of x minus y and x plus y. Okay, x minus y and x plus y. Well, we can do a lot, but the easiest way to do this for your level is just to solve it as a simultaneous equation. 3x minus 2y equals minus 5, and here x plus 2y equals 9. I'm already seeing that the y values here are the same, so I can simplify this by adding the two equations. The reason is that if I add minus 2y plus 2y will cancel each other, so adding makes sense. So 3x plus x is 4x, and equal to, this is already 0, it cancels out. Minus 5 plus 9 is 4 also, so that means x is equal to 1. That's very easy. Now to find y, we can use any equation. Let me use equation 2. Equation 2 says x plus 2y is equal to 9. So since x is 1, 1 plus 2y is equal to 9. So 2y will be 9 minus 1. If 1 crosses over, 2y is going to be equal to 8. So y is equal to 4. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense, right? That makes a lot of sense. So at this point we can say that we can now find x minus y over x plus y. It now becomes easy because x is 1, y is 4. So that will be 1 minus 4 over 1 plus 4. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. 1 plus 4 is 5. So the answer is minus 3 over 5, which is C. Yay! Easy, right? Now the next question here says, a variable w varies partly as m and partly inversely as p. Which of the following correctly represents the relation with k1 and k2 constants? This is very important. W varies partly as m and partly inversely as p. This is how you represent it. Partly, k1 represents the first constant, so partly as m means k1m. Then it also partly varies again, partly inversely. That means now there is another constant k2, but this is k2 times 1 over p because it varies partly inversely. So partly varies partly as m, varies partly as, so that's why we have two constants, because there are two variations here. I hope that makes sense. Okay, and in this case here, that means your w is going to be equal to k1m then plus k2 over p. This is how you once you hear partly varies, it means there will be a plus. So obviously the answer to this question is C. Very easy. Now number 14 says, a cylindrical metallic barrel of height 2.5 meters and radius 0.245 meters is closed at one end. Find correct to one decimal place the total surface area of the barrel. A cylindrical metallic barrel of height 2.5 meters. So the height here, h, is equal to 2.5 meters and the radius r is equal to 0.245, and it is closed at one end, and we are asked to find the total surface area. Now since it is only one end that is closed, that means the other end is open. It means that the total surface area is equal to the curved surface area. Yeah, there is what we call the curved surface area, then plus we call it the cross-sectional area, which is just 1. Okay, let me bring this up. So the curved surface area for a cylinder is simply 2 pi RL. Yeah, that's the curved surface area. The cross-sectional area is just pi r squared. Now assuming both sides are closed, then this would have been 2 pi r squared. That means this is what the cylinder looks like. Okay, this is a cylinder. This area is pi r squared. This area is pi r squared. It would have been 2 pi r squared. But why I'm not putting the 2 is because one end is open. Okay, and we have but the curved surface area for the body, the curved surface area is simply a rectangle. It is 2 pi r times L. So substituting values here, this will be 2 times your pi, we are asked to use 22 over 7 times r is 0.245 times L is 2.5, then plus pi r squared, your pi is 22 over 7, then times your r is 0.245 squared. So I'm going to do this at once. Hopefully I get my answer at once. So 2 times 22 over 7 and times 0.245 times 2.5. Okay, the first part is giving me 3.85. So plus, then we have this one times 0.245 squared. Okay, this is giving us 0. Approximately to 2 decimal places 0.19. So 3.85 plus 0.19 is 3.74. So that's the answer, 3.74. Oh, we don't have any 3.74 here. Sorry, 3.85, not 55. I made a mistake. Plus 0.19 is 4.04. Sorry, 4.04. So which is approximately 4. So C is the answer to this question. I hope this is making sense. Okay. So the next question here says, make R the subject of formula. Make R the subject of the relation. You know, subject of relation is quite easy. Now, but I want to say something here. You know, this is actually supposed to help some of you know what to do in cases like this. The first thing, since I'm making R subject of formula, I can eliminate this first. Some of you may want to open the bracket, it's still fine, but that will be taking too much time. Since pi L is multiplying the bracket, you can divide both sides by pi L. So I'm now having V over pi L equal to R squared minus R squared. So minus R squared can cross the equal sign. You have V squared, you have V over pi L plus small r squared is equal to big R squared. I can find the square root of both sides. That would be square root of V over pi L plus R squared, plus R squared equal to R if you find the square root of both sides. So this is the answer. V over pi L plus R squared, that is its square root. So A is the answer to that question. Very, 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 very interesting. Okay, so now this one says, consider the following statement. M equal to Edna is respectful. That's M. Edna is respectful. N, Edna is brilliant. So let's go to the next one. Okay. And M assumes N. Okay, so which of the following value is valid? Okay, that's very, very an important question for us to note. Okay, so what this simply means is that if M implies N, which of the following is valid? Implying means here M is respectful, implies N is brilliant. Okay, so the possible answers here can simply be, so the answer to this question is simply B. Okay, now the next one says a number is added to both the numerator and denominator of 1 over 8. If the result is 1 over 2, find the number. That's easy. So let's say you have 1 over 8, you added the number, let me call the number x. So I added both numerator and denominator, and the answer is 1 over 2. See, this is quite easy. So we can solve for s. We start by cross multiplying. We have 1 plus x times 2 is equal to 8 plus x times 1. If you open the bracket, this will be 2 plus 2x is equal to, this is 8 plus x. When you collect like terms, 2 crosses here, x crosses here, you have 2x minus x is equal to 8 minus 2, right? So 2x minus x is x, 8 minus 2 is 6. So this is exactly what we have. X is equal to 6. So the answer to this question is D. Quite easy. Quite easy. Now the next one says, Gifty, Justina, and Frank shared 60 oranges in the ratio 5:3:7 respectively. How many oranges did Justina receive? Okay, first of all, let's find the total ratio. The total ratio is 5 plus 3 plus 7, which is 8 plus 7, which is 15. Okay, so if I want to know, Justina is the second one, which is 3. So it means the fraction of Justina in the total ratio is 3 over 15. Then multiplied by the 60 oranges, the amount they all need to share. So this will be 3 times 4, which is equal to 12. So the answer to this question is 12. Quite easy. Okay, so the next one says, find the quadratic equation whose roots are this and this. Well. Okay, I would use this. There are 2 methods to do this, but let me use this. Let's start with saying x is 2 over 3 and x is minus 1. We can make them factors. Cross multiply. 3x is equal to 2. 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. You see that? And here, if minus 1 crosses, you have x plus 1 is equal to 0. So what this simply means is that 3x minus 2 into x plus 1 is all equal to 0. Yeah. So if this is equal to 0 and this is equal to 0, it means this times this is equal to 0. So I can open the bracket here. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x. Okay. Minus 2 times x is minus 2x. Then minus 2 times 1 is minus 2, all is equal to 0. So this will be 3x squared. 3x minus 2x is x. And we have minus 2, which is equal to 0. So this is 3x squared plus x minus 2 is equal to 0. So the answer is C. Quite easy. Okay. Let me put on my glasses, the screen. Okay, so the next one says, a piece of rod of length 44 meters is cut to form a rectangular shape, okay, such that the ratio of the length to the breadth is this. Find the breadth. Ooh. Okay, so a piece of rod, the length is 44 meters, is cut to form a rectangular shape. Okay, now, but I like you to note that, remember that this is the length. Okay, the length is 44, which is equivalent to this ratio 7. It's equivalent to the ratio 7. So let me say the breadth is x. I don't know what it is. But remember that 44 is equivalent to ratio 7. X is equivalent to ratio 4. So I can simply say that 44 over x is the same thing as 7 over 4. Is allowed. Is allowed, okay? And, okay, I think I'm missing something. A piece of length, this, oh, it is cut to form a rectangular shape. Sorry, this is wrong. This is wrong. The total length is 74. So the ratio 7 is to 4. Find the total ratio, which is 7 plus 4, which is 11. The breadth, the fraction of the breadth is 4 over 11. So multiply by the total length, which is 44. And this will be 4, and the answer is 16. So we have 16. C is the answer here. Okay, this is getting interesting. Now, this leads us to this one, which looks interesting too. In the diagram, side MN is parallel to side KL. So this is MN parallel to KL, good. And ML and KN intersect at X. So this is where they intersect. And MN is 12 centimeter. MX is 10 centimeter, MN is 9 centimeter. If the area of triangle MXN is 6 centimeter square, calculate the area of triangle LXK. This is interesting. Now, but this is a case of similar triangle. Whenever you have something like this, a similar triangle, it simply means that this triangle is similar to this triangle. And in a similar triangle, the ratio of the length, let's say L1 over L2 of the two triangles. When you say two triangles are similar, it simply means that they are not necessarily equal, but the ratio of their lengths are equal, are the same. So I can say that the ratio of their length, but in comparison to area, is equal to A1, or put it this way, A1 over A2 will be equal to L1 squared over L2 squared. If you want to compare the length with the area, so it has to be this. You have to square it. That is how it works. Okay. So in this case now, for this smaller triangle here, you have 9 because this side is given, this side is given. So that's what we are going to use for this question. Okay. So here is 9. I say 9 squared divided by here is 12. This is 12 squared is equal to A1. We are given that the triangle MXN is 16. Okay, this one will be the base here. This is 16. Okay, because this is for the first triangle KLX. So 16. So we are asked to find the area of LXK. LXK. So we'll call here A. Yeah, this is how to treat a question like this. So you can cross multiply. Your A now is going to be 9 squared times 16 divided by 12 squared. So let's see how that goes. Which means 81 times 16 divided by 144. I think I should just use a calculator. So 81 times 16 divided by 144. The answer is 9. So the area of the other triangle is 9 centimeters square. So just like you've learned today, this is another way similar triangle. These are other ways you represent similar triangle. It can be a right angle triangle like this, similar triangle. It can be like this, similar triangle. There are like 4 or 5 ways of representing two triangles that are similar. So now you know that when you have two parallel sides and they join to become a triangle, both triangles that are formed are similar triangles. Okay, now the next question says, a ladder 5 meters long leans against a vertical pole, making an angle of 72 degrees with the horizontal. Don't forget this. Calculate correct to 1 decimal place the distance between the foot of the ladder and the pole. I think this is quite easy. This is the vertical pole, and the ladder leans on the pole and makes an angle of 72 degrees with the horizontal. This is horizontal here. That's why we have 72 degrees here. This is horizontal. The length of the ladder is 15 meters. And it says that we should find the distance between the foot of the ladder and the pole. This is the foot of the ladder, and this is the foot of the pole. So we want to find the distance. Let's call it x. Now, this is a right angle triangle. We can apply SOHCAHTOA. X is adjacent, 15 is hypotenuse. So adjacent over hypotenuse is cos. So I'm going to say x over 15 is equal to cos 72. So x is supposed to be 15 cos 72. So I'm going to use my calculator to get that done. So 15 cos 72 is 4.64. Okay, so obviously, apparently, the answer is D. Quite easy, right? Now the next one says, in the diagram, O is the center of the circle, okay? If OA is 25 centimeter, this is OA. AB is 40 centimeter, AB 40 centimeter. Find OH. We have to find this OH here. Let me call it X. Oh, this is very simple. Now, according to one of the laws of circle geometry or of chords, this is a chord here, is that any line from the center will bisect the chord perpendicularly. It's a perpendicular bisector of the chord. That means if any line from the center cuts the chord into two equal parts, it's going to be perpendicular. So since this is perpendicular, it means that this must definitely be equal to this. So this 40, I'm going to share it here, 20 here and 20 here. So 25x and 20 makes a right angle triangle, and we can use Pythagoras theorem. And that means a Pythagoras theorem is that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square of the opposite plus the square of the adjacent. The hypotenuse here is 25, so this is 25 squared. The opposite here is 20, and which can choose any one. Then the other one is x, so I'll call it x squared. 25 squared is 625, I guess. 20 squared is 400 plus x squared. And so x squared is going to be 625 minus 400. X squared is 225. So x is going to be square root of 225, which is equal to 15. So the answer to that question is 15 centimeters. So let's see the options. 15 is A. Beautiful. Getting interesting, right? So number 24 says a car valued at $600,000 depreciates by 10% each year. So the depreciation each year is by 10%. What will be the value of the car at the end of 2 years? So this depreciation at the end of 2 years depreciates by 10% every year. This is also a compound interest, but this time around it is depreciation. So I'm going to use the formula A into or P, whichever, the principal, into 1 minus R, then everything raised to the power of n. Remember, Minus is because of depreciation. If it was increasing, I would have said plus. So the original amount is 600, so 600,000 into 1 minus the percentage decrease. 10% means 0.1. Okay, 10% is 10 over 100, so 0.1. Then the number of years, n is the number of years at the end of 2 years, so I'm going to put 2 here. So this is going to be 600,000 times 1 minus this is 0.9, so 0.9 squared. So I would use my calculator here. 600,000 times 0.9 squared, I am getting 486,000. Beautiful. So the answer is C. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So the next one says, given that P is 25 meters on a bearing of this from Q, okay? Now, bearing of 330 from Q. From Q means you must start from Q. So, from Q. Now, 330 degrees, this is Q. From Q. So, that's why I'm starting with Q. Always note that from. Once you see the from, you know you are starting from there. So, you start from the north. From the north. And you go right. That's clockwise. So, this is 90. This is 180. This is 270. 330 is more than 270. So, that means the angle is somewhere here. So meaning that this actually should be like this. P is somewhere here, like this, and it's 25 meters. So this is P because it's on the bearing of 330. The whole of this now is 330. So the question now is, how far south of P is Q? Okay, this is south of P. Trace it. This is south of P, or south, downwards, is Q. So trace it. So this is how far south of P. That means we are looking for this value here, X. It makes a lot of sense. It's good to know maths, you know. So I need to find what this angle is here because this now makes a triangle. So this angle here is simply 330 minus 270 because every other thing here is 270. So I'm going to subtract 270, 13 minus, this is 60, that's 60. So this is 60. Okay, so makes a lot of sense, which means that here is 30. Since sum of angles in a triangle is 180, but that's by the way. So X is opposite to 60, 25 is hypotenuse. So I'm going to say X opposite over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is 25, which is going to be equal to opposite over hypotenuse is sine, so sine 60. I'm using SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So now we are going to say that our X is going to be 25 sine 60. So let me use my calculator to find 25 sine 60. The answer here is 21.65. So 21.65 is the answer. So approximately 21.7. This is beautiful. So this is how to answer questions like this. Okay, now the next one says the length, question number 26, the length and the breadth of a cuboid are 15 centimeter and 8 centimeter respectively. If the volume of the cuboid is this, calculate the total surface area. Ooh. Now we can't find the total surface area until we know what the breadth is. I mean, we know what the width or the height, you know, because volume of a cuboid is length times breadth times height. Okay, so since the volume is 1560, the length is 15, the height is 8, so I mean the breadth is 8, so we need to find the height. So this is 1560 equal to, this is, I guess, 40, this is 120h. So h is going to be 1560 divided by 120, and that's going to give us 13. So h is 13 centimeter. So, but that's not what we are asked to find. What we are asked to find is the total surface area. And the total surface area of a cuboid, total surface area is cuboid has, okay, is simply 2 into length times breadth plus length times height plus breadth times height. You know, that's how you find the total, because each of them are 2 2. So in a cuboid, so this is going to be 2 into length times breadth. Okay, let's see, length times breadth. is 15 times 18. 15 times 8. We already got that to be 120, so I'm going to put 120 here. Length times height. Length is 15, height now is 13. So 15 times 13. Let me use my calculator here. 15 times 13 is 195. So 195. Okay, so I'm going to put 195 here. Then plus breadth times height. Breadth is 8, height is 13. So 8 times 13. So that's going to be 8 times 13 is going to be 104, right? 8 times 13 is 104. I hope we are all following, right? Okay, so that means that I'm going to add all of this. This is going to be 2 into, so 120 plus 195 plus 104 is 419. Then multiply the answer by 2. It is 838. So this is 419, 838 so centimeters squared. So the answer to this question is A. Quite easy, right? Now the next one says the number 1620 was subtracted from this in base x, and the result was this. Find x. Ooh, quite easy. So you can say you have 6244 in base x minus 1621 in base x, and we got 4323 in base x. So what I will do is let's see 4 minus, let's subtract it normally. Normal subtraction is base 10. 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 6 cannot go, so I'll borrow 1 here to make it 12. So 12 minus 6 is not 3. 12 minus 6 is 6. So that means base 10 is out of the question already. So already, no matter the base, 4 minus 3 will be 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. So let's see, how do you get 3? The only way you can make here 3 is if this is 9 minus 6. 9. This has to be 9. Okay? And what will make 2 to become 9 means that the one you borrowed is now 7. Because 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 minus 6 is 3. So that means the answer is base 7. Very simple. Base 7. Interesting. Because when you say 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 6 is not possible. If you borrow 1, that one becomes base 7. That 7 makes here 9. 9 minus 6, 3. And so that is why we chose base 7 to be the answer. Quite easy. Okay, the next one is factorize completely this. We are asked to factorize this. So in order to factorize it, this represents difference of two squares. It's supposed to represent difference of two squares, but there is a problem here. 27 is not a square number. 48 is not a square number, but I noticed that there is a common factor. So let's see. I can factorize 3. If I factorize 3, I'm going to be left with, this will be 9x squared minus, this will be 16y squared. Good. Which makes both of them a perfect square. So that means I can write this as 9x squared means 3x squared. 16y squared means 4y squared, making it a square, because 4 squared is 16, then you have y squared. 3 squared is 9, then you have x squared, right? So this represents difference of two squares, and I mentioned that, I think we've done the question like that earlier. So this will be 3 into, difference of two squares means 3x minus 4y into 3x plus 4y. That's the answer to this question. So 3 into 3x plus 4y, 3x minus 4y, that is the answer. Very easy. Okay? So the next question here is an inequality question. And we have this, so let me write it here. X minus 3 over 4 plus x plus 1 over 8 is greater than or equal to 2. I think we can find the LCM first. The LCM is 8. 8 divided 4 is 2. 2 times this will give me 2 into x minus 3. Plus 8 divided 8 is 1. 1 times this will give me 1 into x plus 1. All equal to 2. So this is 2x minus 3 plus 1 into x plus 1 is equal to 8 times 2 here is 16. If I open the bracket, this will be 2x minus 6. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. 1 times x is x. 1 times 1 is 1. So all equal to 16. If we collect like terms, 2x plus x is 3x. And minus 6 plus 1 is minus 5. All equal to 16. So 3x, if minus 5 crosses the equal sign, oh, sorry, this is supposed to be greater than or equal to, 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 greater than or equal to. So minus 5 crosses to become 16 plus 5. So 3x will be greater than or equal to 21. Okay? So we divide both sides by 3. That means x is greater than or equal to 7. That's the answer. So C is the answer to that question. Very interesting. Now the next one now says, in the diagram, triangle SQR is equal to 52 degrees. Triangle XQR is 52 degrees. And triangle PRT is 16 degrees. Triangle PRT, okay, that's it here, 16 degrees. Find the value of angle Y. Okay, this is quite easy. Angle Y shouldn't be a problem. I think I can find this missing angle first of all. This missing angle that makes this a triangle, because this is supposed to be a triangle, right? It's a triangle. So, and that's going to be, I'm going to call that angle angle QSR is equal to 180 minus 52 plus 16. So that will be 180 minus, this is 68, and that will give us 112, I guess. Yeah. And the beautiful thing is that, this 112 degrees here, this angle here is the same thing as this internal angle. That's because an external angle of a cyclic quadrilateral is equal to the opposite internal angle. Is a rule, it's one of the circle geometry rules. If you have a cyclic quadrilateral, that means a quadrilateral inside a circle, and one of them goes out this way, so this angle here is definitely going to be equal to this angle here. The external angle, the external angle is the opposite internal angle, always equal to the opposite internal angle. Kindly note that. Okay. Okay, so that leads us to the next one, number 31. Can you imagine I didn't look at how many questions the objective, but I guess it should be 50 or thereabouts. So this one says, in the diagram above, JKL is a tangent to the circle at K. So here we are dealing with tangents. Angle LKG is 38 degrees. LKG, this is L, this is K, this is G, 38 degrees. So that means this is a mistake here. Okay, this is L, LKG, yes, 38 degrees. KIB is 87. This is K, this is I, and there is no B, so that's a mistake. It's H, 87. Find angle KLG, which is what we call X here. Now this is quite interesting. Okay, I just did a question earlier. This is a cyclic quadrilateral. This is a quadrilateral inside this circle. So if this angle is 87, it means that the opposite angle, the external opposite angle, this is an external angle because it's an outshoot of one of the sides of the quadrilateral. It's a straight line shooting out from that. Okay, so it means that if here is 87, it means that here is going to be 87. So finding x is not a problem because here is now a triangle. So I'm going to say x is going to be 180 minus the sum of 38 plus 87. So that's going to be 180 minus, this is 125. And this is going to be equal to 55 degrees. Okay, so let's see. The answer is B, 55 degrees. It's quite easy. The advantage you have in math is, being able to get your answers very fast. Now, a cone and a cylinder are of equal volume. The base radius of the cone is twice the radius of the cylinder. What is the ratio of the length of the ratio of the height of the cylinder to that of the cone? Oh, okay. The volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. The volume of a cone is 1 over 3 pi r squared h. Yeah. 1 over 3 base area times that. Yes. So let me call here R1 and call here R2. 1 representing the cylinder and 2 representing the cone. So I'll call here H1, H2. So these volumes are the same. So I'm going to say pi R1 squared H1 is equal to pi R2 squared H2. Pi cancels out pi. And since I'm asked to find the ratio of H1 to H2, it's going to be, that's the height of the cylinder over height of this, is going to be R2 squared over R1 squared, which can also be written as R2 over R1 and all squared. Okay, so R2 over R1, the question says that the base radius of the cone, that's R2, is twice the radius of the cylinder. So I'm going to say R2 now is 2 times R1 all over R1 squared. So R2 is 2 times R1. That makes R1 cancel R1. So we are left with 2 squared, which is 4. So the answer is 4:1. H1 over H2 is 4 over 1. There is no 4 over 1. Oh, we are missing out something. We missed out on the 3, the cube. So this should be 1 over 3, sorry. And when this cancels out, this should be 3 here. H1 over H2. R2 over R1. Yeah, 3 here. 3 here at the base, 3 here. So this should be 3. So that means this is 4 over 3. 2 squared over 3. 4:3. So B is the answer. Sorry for the earlier mistake. Now for the next one says, find correct to the nearest whole number the value of H in the diagram above. The value of H in the diagram above. Well, I don't see why H should be difficult to find, except if that is a mistake, because this is meant to be a rectangle from what I can see here. And so if here to here is 17, it means, okay, except if H is the whole length, because if here is 17, it means that here is also 17. If here is 19, it means that here is also 19. Okay, so I can use Pythagoras theorem to find this place here. Okay, so let me call here x. 20 squared is equal to 19 squared plus x squared. And if H is just DE, then I would have said H is 17. But I guess H is the whole. So let's see. This is 400 is equal to, I think this should be 381. Let me find that out. So 19 squared is 361 plus x squared. So x squared will be 400 minus 361, and that would be 400 minus 361 is 39. So that means x will be square root of 39. So let's see, square root of 39 is 6.24. That means to the nearest whole number is 6. So that means this number is 6. So that means H actually meant the whole thing, that which is 6 plus 17, which is equal to 23. Okay, this is an error from the way the question was being retyped. Okay, so the next one says the gradient of the line joining the points this and this is this. Find the value of y. Now the value for gradient, let me call here x1 y1 and call here x2 y2. Gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So my gradient is minus 4, my y2 is y, y1 is minus 8, x2 is 1, x1 is 2. So minus 4 now is going to be, this is the same as y plus 8 over 1 minus 1 is minus 1. If I cross multiply, minus 1 times minus 4 is 4, is y plus 8. So if this crosses over, 4 minus 8 is equal to y, so y is equal to minus 4, which is C. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that leads us to this one. Looks quite interesting, but this one has to do with parallel lines. This one says in the diagram above, and side PQ is parallel to side RS. That's PQ, RS, they are parallel, and angle WYZ is 44. WYZ is 44. This angle WXY is 50. WX that should be WXT is 50. So that's a mistake. So find WTX. Is that what we asked to find? I hope so. I hope that's not a mistake. So WTX here, let me call here A. Now if you know the rules of parallel lines, this should not be a problem, because look at this line is parallel to this line, and this is a transversal. A transversal means a line that cuts two parallel lines, that crosses two parallel lines. If here is 44 degrees, here will definitely be 44 degrees. That means they are alternate angles. That's how you treat alternate angles. Okay, alternate angle, I call them Z angles. So when you have two parallel lines, it means that here is alternate to here. It's as easy as that. Okay, so you are going to have, so I can now find A. Since this is forming a triangle, this is going to be 44 plus 50 plus A is 180. This is 94 plus A is 180. That means A is going to be 180 minus 94, and that is going to give us 17 minus 86. So the answer is 86 degrees. Okay, so that leads us to number 36, problem number 36. This one says the perimeter of a rectangular garden is 90. If the width is 7 meters less than the length, find the length of the garden. Quite easy. So let's say this is the rectangle, this is the width, is 7. Let's say this is the length, and the width is L minus 7, 7 less than the length. That's how it works. Okay, so if here is L minus 7, here is also L minus 7. If here is L, here is L, that makes the rectangle, right? And so the perimeter is 90. Perimeter means add up everything here. So I'm going to have L plus L plus L minus 7 plus L minus 7, all is equal to 90. All the L's here are 4, so 4L, L plus L plus L plus L is 4L. Minus 7 is minus 14, equal to 90. So 4L is equal to 90 plus 14. 4L is equal to, this is 104. So L is going to be 104 divided by 4. That would be 220, 24, 6, 26. So the answer is D. Quite easy, right? Now the next one says the 4 of the angles of hexagon sum up to be 420. A hexagon means has 6 sides. If the remaining angles are equal, okay, find the value of each angle. Okay, so well, sum of angle in a hexagon, in a polygon, is n minus 2 times 180. That's the sum of polygon. Sum of interior angles of a polygon. Okay, so hexagon means 6 minus 2 times 180. That means 4 times 180. That's 720. Okay, and out of this 720, 4 of them is 420. So I'm going to say that 420 plus the remaining is x plus x, because they are equal. This is 4 angles, this is 5, 6, making it 6, all equal to 720. So this is 420 plus 2x is equal to 720, and 2x is going to be 720 minus 420. So 2x is going to be 300. So x is going to be 300 divided by 2, which is 150 degrees. That's the answer. 150 degrees. Okay, this is quite tedious. Let me quickly peep. Ouch, it's still long. Okay, so that leads us to number 38. Number 38 says find the value of x in the diagram above. So, and where is x? This is x. You can see that this is parallel to this is parallel to this. It connotes a lot of things, but whenever you see parallel lines, you already know what should come to mind. Well, but this is a parallelogram. What that means is that here is also x. That's simply what that means. First of all, if here is 65, here is 55, this whole angle, triangle here, the bigger triangle here makes up a big triangle, this one here. So it makes up 180. So I'm going to say 65 plus 55, which is 120. Then 180 minus 120 is 60. So this is going to be 60. Since this is a parallelogram, it means that here is also 60. And parallelogram is a quadrilateral. Sum of angles in a quadrilateral is 360. So I'm going to say 60 plus 60 plus x is equal to 360. So this is 120 plus 2x is equal to 360. 2x is equal to 360 minus 120. 2x is equal to 240. So x is going to be divide both sides by 2, which is 120. So the answer to this question is A. Okay, so that now leads us to the next one. It says the following are the masses in kilogram of members in a club. Okay, masses in kilogram of members in a club. Calculate the mean mass. Ouch. The mean mass is simply 59 plus 44 plus 53 plus 49 plus 57 plus 40 plus 48 plus 50 all over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all over 8. So let me use my calculator. So I have 59 plus 44 plus 53 plus 49 plus 57 plus 40 plus 48 plus 50. Okay, so everything is 400. So this is 400 divided by 8, which is going to be 50 kg. That's the answer. So B is the answer to the question. Okay, so the next one, number 40. The following are the masses in kilogram of members in a club. Okay, I think, is that what we just did? That's the same question. Okay, this time around we're asked to calculate the variance of the distribution. Wow. Okay, so since the mean is 50, now variance has a formula, summation of x minus x bar, that's minus the mean, square it, then divided by n, divided by the total number. So what that means is that I'm going to subtract each of these numbers from 50 and square it. For example, 59 minus 50 is 9, so I'm going to have 9 squared plus, this one is going to be 6 squared. Don't forget about, don't worry about the negative number, it will cancel out. This is going to be minus 60, this is going to be 7 squared, plus this is going to be minus 50. This is 44 minus 50, 6, 53 minus 50, this is 3, sorry. 49 minus 50 is 1 squared. This one is 7 squared. This one is 10 squared. That's for this 40 minus 50. This one is 2 squared, because 50 minus 48 is 2. 2 squared, and this is 0 squared. Okay, so everything all over the same value, which is 8. Right, so I use my calculator here. 9 squared plus 6 squared plus 3 squared plus 1 squared plus 7 squared plus 10 squared plus 2 squared plus 0 squared is 280. So this is going to be 280 divided by 8. So let's divide that. 280 divided by 8 is 35. So the answer is 35. Quite easy, right? So don't forget, to find the variance, you subtract the mean from each of the values, or the other way around, but your answer must be positive. That's the point. Okay, this one says the two opposite sides of a rectangle are this and this. If the adjacent side is this, Okay, find the area of the triangle. Well, since these two sides are opposite sides of a rectangle, opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. You see, so equal means that 5x plus 3 must be equal to 2x plus 9. You see that? So if I collect like terms, if I bring this over, 5x minus 2x is equal to 9 minus 3. 5x minus 2x is 3x, 9 minus 3 is 6. So I can divide both sides by 3, so we are going to get x to be equal to 2. So x is 2. So I can now find the area of the rectangle. The length here, I can use any one. 5x plus 3. If I put x to be 2, it's going to be 5 times 2 plus 3, which is 10 plus 3, which is 13. Then the other one is 2x plus 9, which is 2 times 2 plus 9, which is 4 plus 9, which is also 13. So I'm trying to let you know that these two now are the same thing. So 13, 13. So the length of the rectangle is 13. The breadth of the rectangle is 6x minus 7, which means 6 times 2 minus 7, which is 12 minus 7. 12 minus 7 is 5. So this is 5. So 13 times 5 is 65. So the area of that rectangle is 65. You see that this requires a lot of common sense. Now the next question says, is a probability question. A die is tossed once. Find the probability of getting a prime number. Ooh. A die has 6 sides, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So a die has 6 sides. So the probability of getting a prime number starts with 2. And I think 5 also is a prime number. Yeah. Those are the only 2 prime numbers. Oh, 3 is a prime number. 3 can only divide itself, right? So the number of prime numbers is 1, 2, 3. So the probability of getting a prime number is 3 all over the total, which is 6. And 3 over 6 is simply 1 over 2. So that makes it A. Easy, right? So number 43 says, the area of a sector of a circle with radius 7 centimeter is 51.3 centimeters squared. Area of a sector of a circle with radius is this. Calculate correct to the nearest whole number the angle of the sector. Now area of a sector is simply theta over 360 times pi r squared. This is the formula for area of a sector. Okay, and based on the question, it is 51.3. So if I substitute the value, I should have theta over 360 times 22 over 7 times the r is 7. 7 squared equals 51.3. Okay, so if we cross multiply to find theta, theta is going to be 360 times 7 times 51.3 divided by 22 times 7 squared. Okay, I would have done some calculations here, but that's okay, that's fine. So let me do that now. 360 360 times 7 times 51.3, then in the denominator multiply 22 times 7 squared. Okay, so by r squared, yeah, okay, 22, I made a mistake here. Okay, I'm getting 119.9 degrees. 119.9 degrees. So since it's to the nearest whole number, it means 120 degrees. So the answer is B. Quite easy, right? The cliff of a bank is, that's number 44. The cliff of a bank of river 87 meter high. The cliff of the bank of a river 87 meter high. A boat on the river is 22 meter away from the cliff. Calculate correct to the nearest degree the angle of depression of the boat from the top of the cliff. This is the cliff. This is the distance to the boat. This is the boat here. This is the depression here. This is the depression. The angle of depression is here. This is the angle of depression. That means the angle between the eye level and the depression. You know, it goes down. That's angle of depression. And if you know your maths, this alternate angles, if here is theta, here will also be theta, so they are the same. So the boat is 22 meters away from it, and we're looking for the height of the cliff. Let me use h. So this is h. H is opposite, 22 is adjacent, because this is a right angle triangle. So I'm going to say h over 22 is equal to tan theta. Okay, the height already is 87. So let me say 87 over 22 is tan theta, because opposite over adjacent is tan. So theta is going to be tan inverse of 87 over 22. So let me do that quickly. Tan inverse of 87 over 22. That is 75.8. Which is approximately 76 degrees to the nearest degree, since it's the nearest degree. Okay, so we approximate it to be a whole number. Now, question number 45. In the diagram, TU is the tangent, so this is a tangent. Tangent is any line that touches the circumference of the circle at P. If angle PTS is 44 degrees, PTS 44 degrees, so here 44 degrees. Angle SQP is 35 degrees, SQP 45, that means here 45 degrees. Find angle PST, that means this angle here. Oh, it's quite easy, a little difficult to say, but I think it is. Now, there is a rule that says that a chord that touches a tangent forms an angle that is equal to the angle between the chord and the tangent. This is a rule. So the angle between a chord and a tangent is equal to the angle subtended by that same chord on the circumference. So this chord produces this angle here on this circumference, and this chord makes an angle with the tangent, and that angle is definitely equal. This is one of the rules of tangents. Okay, so that's 45 degrees. So I can now find the missing number here. Let me call it A. So A is going to be 180 minus 44 plus 45. So that will be 180 minus 89, and that will be 91 degrees. That's the answer, D, 91 degrees. Okay, we don't have 91 here. So where would that mistake be? Oh, okay, SQP is 35. SQP, okay, this is supposed to be 35. So that means here is 35. So here is 35. So that means 79, which makes it 101 degrees A. Okay, that's beautiful. I was wondering. Now, number 46. The probability that Amaka will pass an exam is 3/7, and that Bala will pass is 4/9. Find the probability that both will pass the exam. That's just 3/7 times 4/9. If both will pass, this is what it is. So 3 here 1, 3 here 3. So the answer is going to be 4/21. That's the answer. 4/21, which is B. Once both is going to pass, then you do it that way. The next one says, which of the following points lies on the line this? Oh, okay. The only way you can know the point that lies on the line is any of them that will substitute here and will give us 11. It can't be 1, 1, because if I put x to be 1, y to be 1, it's going to be -5. This is the answer, 1 and -1. If I put x to be 1, and this is -8, y to be -1, it's going to be 3 plus 8, which is equal to 11. So the answer is B. And that's how to answer a question like that. Okay. Now the next one says, find the range of the following set of numbers. Okay, range simply means range of a set of numbers is the highest number minus the smallest number. So if I look at the whole of this number, it is obvious that the highest number here is 39. Okay, so minus the smallest number here apparently is 15. So 39 minus 15 is 24. That's the answer. That's the range. Quite easy, right? Now number 49 says, The fourth and eighth terms of an arithmetic progression are 16 and 40 respectively. Find the common difference. The fourth and eighth terms of the arithmetic progression are 16 and fourth term of an arithmetic progression is a plus 3d. That is 16. Eighth term of an arithmetic progression is a plus 7d. You subtract 1 equal to 40. The formula is supposed to be a plus n minus 1d, but so if I say 4 minus 1 is 3, 8 minus 1 is 7. So this is giving us a simultaneous equation which you can solve by just subtracting, right? A minus a is 0, 3d minus 7d is minus 4d, 16 minus 14 is minus 24. So if I divide both sides by minus 4, d is going to be equal to 6. So B is the answer to that question. Very easy. Very easy. And here we have the last question. This one says, for what values of y is y plus 2 over xy minus 10y plus 3 not defined? Now, for a rational function not to be defined, it means that the denominator 8y squared minus 10y plus 3 must be equal to 0. That is only when a rational function a over b will be undefined. The denominator will be equal to 0. So I equate the denominator to 0 and solve. In this case, we can say 8y squared. I think 3 times 8 is 24. Two numbers that can multiply to give 24 but add to give minus 10. I think it's minus 6 and minus 4. Yeah. So this will be minus 6y minus 4y plus 3 equal to 0. 2y is common here, so it's going to remain 4y minus 3. I can factorize the negative sign here. That will be 4y minus 3. When you factorize a negative number, it will affect here. So all equal to 0. So this is minus 1, sorry. So this is 2y minus 1 and 4y minus 3 equal to 0. So if 2y minus 1 is equal to 0, 2y will be equal to 1. That means y is 1 over 2, right? Also, if 4y minus 3 is equal to 0, 4y will be equal to 3. That means y will be 4 over 3. So the answer is 1 over 2 and 4 over 3. 1 over 2 and 4, okay? Yeah. Sorry. That's 3 over 4. 1 over 2 and 3 over 4. So C is the answer. Okay, so thank you very much. This is it for the objective question. In my next video, I'm going to be solving the theory. So watch out for the theory question. Thank you. Bye.